All right, we're back again. Zebra's running backwards, but we have a different co-host this time. You don't have to really say your name.
Yeah,
you know?
well, I ain't about to. But...
All right. So we got like a big topic in mind that a lot of people are probably feeling right now with the new school year coming up.
I'd be all right. So like, if you haven't started school yet, first of all, fuck you. And I've been in school for almost a fucking month. Second of all, again, fuck you. Third of all,
fuck you.
Fuck you. Fourth of all, you're gonna be fucked, dude. Especially if you're starting college. I got a friend who starts college like sometime next week, and I'm like, ha! First of all, fuck you. Second of all, fuck you. Third, actually, that's all my points. Just fuck you. You know, nothing else.
I mean, like, right now, what the thing is, like, the problem with college that I find is just like there's this whole thing where you have to know what you want to do before you even go in. Because like if you're going to like I'm going to community college, we both are, and like if you're going to community college and you don't know what you're doing like gen eds and shit.
Basically, I feel like a lot of people, the reason they go to community college is because they don't know what they want, but they still want to go to college.
Mine is because my parents made me, but that's a different story.
Well, I mean, like in my case, no one specifically made me go to college, but I was like, if I don't go to school, like, what the fuck am I going to be doing?
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I have no desire at all to do what I'm majoring in, and there's nothing in college that's really going to help me with what I want to do, which is, like, music, and there's no college that has the programs that I want. So right now I'm just paying money to do useless shit.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing that's funny because one of the topics we could have picked for group discussion to discuss about was the pros and cons of community college, funny enough. It's like one of the good things about it is that if you don't know what you're doing, you can still go to college and hopefully you figure it out, like, let's say, like, in your first year.
Yeah.
And then it's free to change your major. So then if you figure it out, you can just be like, oh, fuck it, change my major. And if you get any credits, and if you take classes for that, you can get whatever credits you got transferred over if you go to a new college, because if you don't, it can be a little messy if you don't.
My sister got fucked over when she transferred colleges. She was going to, like, a big-name college like Clemson. And then she was there for a semester, and we lived pretty far. Like, we live 8 hours from Clemson. And after like a semester, she was like a child development major. I don't know, like some bullshit with children, right? And then she was like, "Oh, this is not where I want to be." And I'm like, "You're a dumbass motherfucker. You want to come back here to take college when you could be in South Carolina taking classes
and basically not here.
Anywhere but here." But she came back after a semester, and most of the she took like 5-6 classes down there. Most of the credits that she took down there didn't transfer, and then she finished college up here, and I was like, "You dumb motherfucker!"
Like, all right, like just the other, like for one thing, out of state college is more expensive because if you don't have residency in that state, they're going to charge you more.
Yeah.
So that's why I would be like, even if I go to a 4-year college, it's going to be in this state because, honestly, it would probably be state or public college, and it would be in this state somewhere because you know how many fucking universities there are, like, just, like, an hour or two away that are public and state. So I'm like, what? Like, why leave the state? Because it'll be cheaper because I'm a resident. Yeah. Obviously, if I wasn't, I'd be quite surprised. Why am I here if I'm not a resident of the state is my first question. Second of all, why have my parents lied to me is my other question. And then my third question is, where the fuck am I actually from?
Oh, If
it's not here, yeah, or, somewhere, was born in the ocean.
Dude, my biggest problem is, like, I was writing an essay, and you know this, I was writing an essay, and I couldn't write it. And, I was having problems, like, writing it. It was a 4-page essay. And, like, midway through the essay, I was like, I don't even want to be at college right now. Like, I'd rather be just taking music lessons and shit. And just doing that. But, I have to be in college because my parents want me to be. So after these 2 years, I'm done. I'm not going back.
I don't know. I might take a gap year or 2. I don't know.
Fuck it.
I don't know. I don't know yet. It depends on like a lot. Like there's so many variables, even some that I haven't even accounted for.
Yeah.
You know, not only, you know, we're talking about money, talking about where I am in 2 years, you know, what I actually want to do, if I even care. So it all depends on, you know, what happens. But what's sure is that after like these 2 years, like I'm not doing shit involved in school for at least a year.
Yeah, I mean, the biggest thing, like my biggest worry with my career as a musician, because like I can write songs pretty good, but like my biggest like fear is just not making it. Not like I don't really care if I make it, to be honest. Like big, like I don't want to be like Drake or any shit like that. Like I just want to like be able to do shows and like make money off of it. And well, I don't really care like how much money. I just want to be able to live off of it, and not have to do another job. You know, like I don't care. Like as long as I'm like comfortable with my living, I'm fine. Like I don't want to have to do like a day job and then practice and then go do a show that I get paid like $20 for. I mean, I'll be okay with that at the beginning, because you know that's the beginning of it. Like I want to be like get ready, get up, practice, go do a show, and then not have to wake up for another like work job thing I have to do. Like I want to be on like Warped Tour and shit, you know, and like make that pop punk scene big.
I mean, in that case, like fair. I don't know. I wouldn't say it's fairly easy, but it's definitely a place that offers a lot of what do you call it? Not like opportunities. There's a lot of entry points.
I mean, right now, like the rap game is like super oversaturated, and it's harder to become like to stand out. Even like to stand out now, you can't be doing trap. You have to do like actual meaningful shit. All right, hold on 1 second. We're gonna be right back. All right, we're back. So as I was saying, like, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, and it's just like the rap scene's just like crazy oversaturated. But like
a lot of them aren't even that good, to be honest.
Yeah, a lot of like underground shit isn't even good. Like I understand like the quality of it. Like I get past the quality. Like it's just the lyrics.
Well, it's like, well, technically that's quality.
No, I mean like the quality of the mic and shit.
Well, okay, the way that I see it is that right now there's too many people in rap. Like not only do you have the people who've been in there for so long, but you also have all these other people, and there's so many people that it's like the more people that are in it, the less the overall quality is going to be lower. Yeah. Like even if there's a lot of good, there's a lot of fucking bad. Good God.
Yeah, I mean, like we were just listening to a bad artist, and we always make fun of him, but like
he doesn't quit.
He does not quit. What. I mean, I admire his determination and shit, but like
he doesn't improve. He doesn't improve. Like he does not improve like at all.
But like if you look at like rock and stuff right now, which is not the popular genre like at all. Like there's pop rock, yes, but like
pop
punk
rock is what's in basically right now.
Punk, metal, alternative, and everything like within those genres. I'm not gonna like name every subset because that's fucking redonkulous. Like everything like in those genres right now isn't popular, and it probably hasn't been popular since like Linkin Park fell off. Like they're a bit like the Hybrid Theory was huge, but like after that
they kind of
started falling off. But like there's nothing like big in rock right now.
There's nothing that you could point to and be like that stands out. But I mean like something like I enjoy indie music because there's a lot of it, and a lot of it's fairly good. Like because it's different from, you know, it's different. It really is different.
Yeah.
Especially some of these bands have a very interesting names. Like I've seen one that's called Moon Taxi.
Yep.
And they're really not that bad, come to think about it.
But like there's nothing like, I don't think since like, God, I can't even think about it. Like I think like the most recent big like popular song that was kind of pop or punk was like, God, I'm trying to think of it. Like I guess All Star wasn't even that pop punk.
No.
I guess like the biggest rock song that's been recent of like that I would actually listen to of recent would probably be like anything like Blink-182 or like some like, you know, All Star or something stupid like that. But like there's nothing like huge that's rock. So right now there's a lot of pop punk bands and like metal bands that aren't known, but they have a way to get out there and get to their fans like through social media and stuff. So I'm not even worried about like when I actually start doing it, like how it's gonna work out and how I'm gonna reach fans. Like I know how to do it. It's just I'm worried about like the making of money and everything, like selling merch and all that. It's not a lucrative field, but that's what I want to go into, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, like, on the topic of college again, like, see, I would, if I could, I would write, you know, for money, be an author, and creative writing classes, like, those don't work for me, because the way that I'm pretty sure the way they are is not the way that
He wants them.
that I want them. Like, I don't want them to tell me, first of all, I don't need to be taught how to write. Like, I know how to write. You know, I don't need to be taught how to write because I know how to do that. I have my own type of style and I'm comfortable with it, and I don't really want to mess with it unless I want to. And then on the other hand, you got to think, they're probably going to make me, you know, write about specific topics, and I don't want to do that unless I want to. Like, oddly enough, I entered a poetry contest on the site that I post on, and it's about Halloween. I'm like, okay, whatever, I can do that. No big deal.
But like,
the thing is, I wanted to do that. I thought about it. I'm like, okay, I want to do this. I'll give it a shot. It'll probably suck because I'm not good with, you know, you can't. I don't really like to be forced to write something, and that's why I hate. I don't really like essays. I don't like to be forced to write something.
Yeah, like I love writing. Like I would write stories all day, but like when you give me like an essay to write, like you're like, all right, write on this topic, or like choose a topic even, like. But, like, you give, like, a narrow window of the topics.
Well, I mean, even those are interesting, because if I can choose a topic, I'll like it a little more, but I still won't really like it.
Yeah, like, you don't, like, the way I write is, when it comes to me, I write it. But, like, I can't, like, if I'm not feeling, like, the writing mood at all, like, I won't write. Like, that's how it is. I have to be in, like, a mood and, like, a creative, like, state of mind to, like, get it out there. And I feel like emotions are like how most good writing should be started anyway. Like there's a lot of great poets that are like depressed, like their work is like just depressing stuff, or like even bands. But like there's also like great happy and sad, like happy and love songs and stuff like that. But those are all like emotions. Like most like works of art are from emotions. There's nothing like that you just have, like, you don't have an emotion and you just write. That's not how it usually works anyway. But I can't write without an emotion behind it, because I feel like it's kind of empty, you know?
I mean, it all really kind of depends a lot of the time, because there's always got to be some type of emotion in it, because if there's not, you're not going to be able to connect with anybody. That's what, you know, stories are based on. Basically, something happening, and then the character's reaction to it is part of the way that I kind of think about it. A lot of the story is a reaction to what's happening, and that's where you get stories like where you can make even human and non-human things non-human things seem human if you can relate it to something like human emotions that people could recognize and resonate with. I did that with one thing. I forget what it was. Yeah, I remember. It was a leaf. I used a changing of the seasons from a perspective of a leaf to relate that back to humanity.
Yeah.
And I think it was individuality as well. And that's the thing. Like, it could be related because if you could break it down into something that seemed human, then it would work.
Yeah, like I wrote a poem, I guess, about like a drop of water, like water, like not like a drop of water, but like water, and like how it can feel like, I guess it was kind of like a love story, like that I related to, especially like water dropping over like dirt and stuff. Like you think they'll soak in, like I was trying to relate like water to like you being like, or water to a person, like falling in love with someone and then having your heart broken by them, you know, and just being used by them, you know?
Yeah. And it's one of the things that it's one of the things that, like, anyone can kind of do it, but it takes like practice to do it well. Like, you actually have to want. You actually have to want it.
Yeah.
And that's what that you actually have to want it. Oh yeah, yeah. You actually have to want it is the thing that a lot of people really don't have. Like when you're writing for an essay, people don't want to write an essay.
Yeah, nobody really likes writing an essay.
Nobody wants to. And it's stupid that that's one thing they can relate to the school system, that if you're not, actually I saw this online. They said why is it that if you're not good at music or art, you just don't have a talent for it, but if you're not good at, say, English, math, or science, you're dumb.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not all right, because not everybody can, be an English major or a math major or a science major, but not also, on the other hand, not everybody can do but I think a lot of the thing, it's an issue between what you call talent versus skill.
Yeah.
I think is the way to put it. Because, like, a skill is like something that you work towards and you build and you become better at it, but talent, it's like you have a knack for it, but that still doesn't mean you don't have to. That's what a lot of people kind of forget. Just because you have talent doesn't mean you don't have to practice. Even if you have, like, say, a natural talent, you still need to practice it, or else you're going to lose it. To tell you the truth, it's one of those things, if you don't use it, you're going to lose it.
Yeah.
And there's always room for improvement. Even with me, like, the way I write, I have a decent following on a site that I post on. I have a pretty decent following. And even myself, like, even though, like, these people say, it's good, and I like what I do, I realize that I can still experiment, and I can still improve, although a lot of the times I just, that's a different issue about editing. I don't really do it much, because if I did, I would never put anything out, if I'm telling the truth. I would never put anything out if I try to edit too much. I mean, I do it a little bit, but a lot of the times I just finish writing, I'm like, yeah, this is good, and I put it up. And usually it goes over pretty well.
Yeah.
I tend not... spell check catches a lot of the stuff for me, but if I wrote something like a book, of course I would edit it, but as far as what I do now, I don't really edit, but it all depends on what it is and how much... And if I'm like, okay, I'll do this now, or I'll just put it up later. It all really kind of depends on what's going on. A lot of it's mood dependent. Like, a lot of the stuff I have is, like, more towards a sadder side, and anything else, but I mean, that's just how it works.
I mean, I feel like what you're talking about with, like, science and math and stuff, like, whenever people like your relatives are like especially mine, they'll talk to you and be like, I remember, like, even when I was in high school, they're like, or before that, they're like, oh yeah, are you playing, like, what sport are you playing? And I'm like, fuck that, I'm not playing a sport. Like, why does it matter? And, like, but I would say, no, I'm not playing any sports right now. And then their entire mood would change. Like, I used to play baseball as a kid because, white kid always plays baseball when he's a kid. Mm-hmm. Or, like, some sport. And then after I quit that, all, like, the attitude towards me, like, especially with my relatives and, like, even my immediate family kind of changed. And, like, they kind of viewed me as lazy because I didn't want to do a sport, or I didn't want to go out all the time and just spend all my time in the sun. But, like, there's much better uses of my time that I would rather do. Like, there's no point for me to do something that would make me miserable just to make other people happy. I mean, yes, I love making people happy, but, like, there's no point for me to be miserable and make people that aren't going to care about me happy. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah, I got kind of lucky. I got kind of lucky just because I have some very, kind of severe, like, allergy issues and such. And being outside, depending on the time of year, which is like half the year, it really doesn't agree with me a lot of the time. I mean, it's gotten a little better, but I kind of got away with it, so I didn't really have to play a sport. No one really pressured me about that. But then on the other side, I have a family, the ones that I see, they're rich. We talk about doctors, teachers. My great uncle was a superintendent for God knows how long. He played football, was a football coach. I don't know if it was professional or not. I don't remember. But I had a lot of pressure to do well in school, and that's almost just as bad because You know, if you're talking about a kid, you know, elementary school, you want them to be like, you know, at the top, but I never quite could get to the top. Like, I only got straight A's once, and that was by luck.
I never got straight A's.
I did, but I mean, like, it's based on, like, you could put pressure on someone to do sports, you know, or intellectual, and it's both bad, because you want a kid to kind of perform at, like, the top. Like, you want your kid to be at the top, like, all A's, perfect, like, GPA, and it's not even, I don't even think, it's not even, and it's not even, like, for you or your parents, it's for these other people. And I know for a fact that these other people definitely, probably, even if they didn't directly or indirectly put pressure on my parents, and they, you know, were like, oh, well, now you have to do good, you know, and then when you don't perform the way that they want you to, they kind of make you feel like shit. And and that's also really bad, because then if you're really good at something else, they don't want to hear about it, basically. And so it's like a loop. It's like a loop in that then you put more pressure on yourself than anybody else ever could, and you lose a lot of your time because you're always in your studies. I mean, you want your kid to be like on top, but that your kid's not necessarily going to be on top, because it's hard to be on top like that.
And I feel like that kind of fucks up with like what you want to do in life anyway. Like, because if you're putting pressure on this kid to be good in math, science, English, and every other every single subject, like, all the time, he's not gonna actually find out what he actually likes. Like, when I was younger, like, I hate math now, probably because of this, but like, when I was younger, I was like second grade maybe, and nobody in like second grade when I was going to school, like, knew multiplication at all, and like, that wasn't a thing that people would try to do, like, but my dad was like, yeah, you're gonna learn multiplication today when you get home, and I was like, what is multiplication? But like, if you're putting pressure on your kid to do good in every single subject, like, all the time, like elementary, middle school, and high school, eventually there's either what I did, they're not gonna care and do their best in what they can, or just not care at all, or they're just gonna be like fucking like stressed out as fuck, and just always feel like whatever they do is not good enough.
Yeah, that what you're describing is basically what kind of happened with myself, being kind of like, if I didn't do, actually, by the time I got senior year, I did not care anymore. That was part of the reason. I legit did not give a fuck at all. I just wanted to graduate, because at that point, I wanted to, you know, I did not want to be there at all anymore. And a lot of people like, you know, you gotta value your senior. Sure, you can value your senior year, but for me, I was like, I don't want to be here anymore.
Yeah.
I don't want to get up 90% of days to even come here, and I didn't see a point, because I didn't want to anymore. And there was all that build up, and graduation was like that. It was over. As soon as it started, it was basically over, and I was like, this is what I've been looking forward to all these years, and it ain't even shit. And I didn't even feel special at graduation, to be honest, because I was just basically part of a fucking machine. I didn't even feel anything towards it. But then there's also the problem with other kids where their parents want them to be like the straight A student, star athlete, and those are the kids who are more likely to, you know, those are the type of kids that do drugs and shit, and, you know, some of those types of kids end up, you know, committing suicide because it's too much.
And then their fucking parents are like, where did we go wrong?
Well, I mean, you went wrong with wanting your kid to do everything, and then there's also a different thing about athletes that I don't really like, is that they're valued more than anybody else.
Especially music.
Yeah. Their music and art stuff, and that includes, you know, painting,
pottery,
you know, any type of art, you know, like whether it's painting, writing, music, whatever, music and art, all that stuff is at like the bottom.
Mm-hmm.
And then like the athletes are like at the top for legit no reason. And then below,
because it makes them money.
Yeah, and then below that is, not even below that, is like all the kids with a lot of friends, if we're talking about social hierarchy. And then below that are the smart people. And then anybody else is just in the middle. And if you do art, it's very weird if you're in art, but yet you're up here with like the popular kids, like the smart kids. That's why even though I took AP classes, I still felt like and I did decent, I still felt like an outsider, because I was with all these people, and I was like, these people are way smarter than me. and I have no idea what the fuck I'm even doing half the time. And I'm like, I do not fit in. Like, especially if we're talking about my AP Chem class, both semesters, I was basically the kid that did not fit among all these people, because a lot of these people already knew each other. A lot of these people were the popular kids, did the athletics, all that other shit. And I was just the one kid that didn't do any of that stuff, and I was just kind of there. And it was okay in the first semester. Second semester, really fucking bad. And I was like, you know what? And by the time of that, I was like, I don't want to be here. I hate ending my day here. I want to just skip this class like every single fucking day. But the teacher was amazing, though. And that's the sad part. The teacher was amazing, but the people in the class that I was with, not only did they know the fuck out of me because of their personalities, but, you know, I was the one kid that did not fit at all amongst any of those people.
All right. Well, that's the end of this podcast, and we'll come back to you guys later. Peace out. Suck my ass.